So in thinking about it, I became aware of the resolution being a much more simpler thing that we have made it out to be. It's not about the team that we choose to believe in and we give our objectivity and our integrity to. It's about unchecked ego using that team to further its purposes of selfishness and being greedy and an asshole to everybody else just because their parents didn't love them enough or didn't pay enough attention. And I get it that it's not a general rule. I mean, it is a stereotype to a certain degree, but it is something that is noticeable when your parents don't want to have you. It's evident because they then expect to live a normal life with a marriage and a family, but they never stop and consider that maybe their decision making is not being the best one for that goal. So they end up with somebody that they didn't even want to be with to begin with. It was just convenient, or they were just too beautiful to actually have that opportunity pass out, and we actually don't know why that would be. I mean, I guess I get it, being popular and being known is something that is good for the ego, but how much of that are you willing to lose to actually become a happy person? And it's a basic it's a basic option. It's just making the decision to not be shitty to anybody else. And this is reflected well reflected in the manosphere, and that thing that we've been infected by all these years. And it's not something new. I mean, the macho kind of guy, it's always been the same. It's insecure, afraid people who try to make others less so that they can feel better about themselves. And that's what misogyny is. That's what national Christianity is about trying to put a insecure person in a throne so that they believe that they're a king. And you can see what kind of decisions those type of people make. It's evident that they are not loved. They do not show any hints of being loved or knowing love at all. And again, it's not a general thing. I get it that there are people who are loved and well nourished and got the attention they needed to be a good person, but it's not the general. It's not a generalization. It's the exception to the rule. The rule being these empty vessels who think that they are a part of a team, and that makes them some kind of powerful to influence other people's lives. Maybe. It's sad, man, because it's even evident when they gather. I mean, if you take a look at a right-leaning conference that is being held somewhere in the U.S. and you see that the data shows that they crash gay dating sites. I mean, just the idea of fighting with yourself not to be something that you are, just so that you can comply to the whims and the expectations of your parents or society in a whole, and you leave yourself behind, and that's the reason why you are empty. That's the reason why you don't succeed in life. You can gather, you can hoard, and you can accumulate a lot of wealth and influence, but what good does that do to you when you cannot look yourself at the mirror, when you don't know if somebody's loving you or just being cozy to you so because it's convenient to them? And I understand that I sound judgy and high horsed and judgmental, but it's not that at all. I mean, it's just us noticing things that we need to address, because we are at great risk to actually end it all and allow these greedy monsters or these unchecked egos to basically end us all just because they want to live in a bunker somewhere at one point. And it's fucking stupid, because we we should be focusing, as I mentioned in other videos, we should be focusing not on wars anymore. Apparently we like to presume and to make ourselves believe that we are the greatest brain, the biggest, most brightest brain there has ever been, and that we are the most civilized. But hoarding has never worked. And it's mediocre to think that hoarding is the way to go when we've seen what it's actually doing to everybody else. I mean, 1% of the people has over 90% of the wealth in the world. That's kind of preposterous. More so when there are kids dying of hunger, and not even in the third world anymore. Right here in the second world. So I'm not sure if there's a second world, but we see it every day. People struggling, people having to go to GoFundMe's and rely on other people's good intentions and goodwill and willingness to help to survive and to be not even having a normal life, but having one that allows us to not go insane because of the pressure that it is to live at this point in time. There were times in the 50s that a lot of old people who defend this stupidity that's currently running the world, and those people lived in an era where you can buy a house and have a big family and have cars and be prosperous in that way and go to a vacation and always done with a salary of one job. You didn't even have to have a dual income to be able to do it. And those were the 50s after the war where we started, or they started to tax the rich. I think it was 90% of the rate. That was the tax that they were charged. And I mean, that's, well, what are you doing? That's more than enough. That's fine. The people actually produce all the wealth, so why it shouldn't go back to them as well. They are the ones working the long hours. They are the ones, taking some kind of shit from a boss that they don't like, hanging up with people that they don't like because it's convenient. I mean, they're the ones who are suffering the actual reason for the wealth of these people, and they don't even appreciate it. They think that they deserve more. Even they don't conform with exploiting people and lying to them and cheating them out of their money, or exploiting their time and making them be away from their families. You don't let them be themselves. You don't let them figure out what they want out of their lives so that they can actually start making better decisions. And I've seen people actually go through life without even acknowledging that they have their own desires and their own wants and their own needs. I mean, it's kind of sad that we're wasting away that in that regard, just so that some people can accumulate more and hoard more than others, so that they can call themselves billionaires and trillionaires, like it's some kind of pride or some kind of honorary title that you can get. I mean, exploiting people, lying to them, cheating them out of their time and out of their money is not something to be honored about, or to think that you're some kind of leader or successful person. That's mediocrity. You're taking away from others too, so that you can waste it all on your own means. And you see it every day. I mean, people trying to be more than others just because other people will think that they are enough, and they never are enough because they are never satiated. They don't understand that concept. They do want more and more and more and more, even if it costs them time away from their families, from their own lives, from their own desires and love. And that's why they never get to experiment love, because they focus so much on being greedy and treating people like shit and saying that they are respected when they are actually feared. That they don't realize that they're wasting away, they're wasting time, and they're not living a life that is worth living, because they think that wasting money and being important somehow is an excuse to waste their lives and not doing what they actually want to do. Not being gay, not being happy, not being a husband, not being a wife, not being a alone. I mean, that's not up for debate. What whoever wants to do whatever they want to do with their body and with their experience, it's up to them. As long as they don't hurt anybody else, why should it matter to anybody? I've had a lot of issues with my family because of that, because they expect something of me, and I don't expect anything of myself. I expect it to be happy, and that's what I decided since I was a child, and it took me a while to do it, but I made the tough choices, and I decided to die alone if that was the price to pay. I mean, it's sad to think that I once think that that was a possibility, but it is, and it's someone that you have to actually acknowledge and go through in your brain so that you can process the idea that living life is what's worth the while, not wasting it by complying with others' expectations of what my life should be. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's wasting your life, and you see it in people's eyes when you go to the supermarket, when you go to the movies, when you go to just by walking down the street, you see their eyes and they're empty, confused, longing, and some of them are even regretful, and you can see the envy in them and the jealousy, and it's fucking sad that we have to let or think that we need to let stupid people take over our resources and administer our taxes, and just because they wear a suit and tell us in a nice way, but obviously lying, that they are doing the best for us when they are only doing the best for themselves. And we keep on letting them think that they are important and that they are influential, and we let them go away with immunity when they are just civil servants. They shouldn't have immunity. They should have the full weight of their decisions being brought back at them, because it's horrible, the lack of accountability, and how these orange nero is taking pardons like if they were candy. As long as you can give me money for them, I can give it to you. No questions asked. No, doesn't matter who you fucked over. It doesn't matter who you hurt or who you killed. I'm gonna pardon you. I'm gonna pardon you because you gave me money. And now they're profiting all the way with war. His children are. And it's sad to understand that there are people who defend that. I saw a post earlier today. A conman married to an immigrant, stating that the problems are conmen and immigrants. Something like that. I'm butchering it, surely, but it was that idea of how someone who is, I can't say arguably, but I can't say clearly either because I don't know, I wasn't there, but I mean, all the signs point to him being a pedophile, him being abusive to women, him being one of those macho guys who, when push comes to shove and truth comes to be, and the reality needs to set in, and we need to actually make an important decision, and he's going to buckle like he's buckling right now because he got pressured by another unchecked ego that thinks that the Bible or the sacred book is somehow giving them permissions to take over a land that is not theirs anymore. And I'm gonna criticize them a lot, but just as a Zionist state, not as a religion. I don't care about your religion and what you believe in. If you're a Jew, you are a great person. If you're a Christian, you are a great person. If you're any kind of Muslim or any kind of other Buddhist, Hindu, I don't know the religions all over the world, but I know those actually state the same thing. So it's not the religion that's the problem, it's your unchecked ego making you think that you're better than others when you're all saying the exact same fucking thing. All religions tell you three things: love yourself, love others, cooperate. That's it. You're not focusing on that message. You're focusing on the permission that those books give you to be an asshole, to be misogynistic. When it's not sacred, when you think about it, if there's an all-knowing and beloving, and all-loving God, that it has nothing to do with that type of ego. When you have a God that's looking out for everybody, you actually understand that he's he knows what love is, and none of what's on those books regarding violence and misogyny and abuse to children and abuse to black people, none of that comes from a loving God. So you understand that a man may have made that book inspired by their God or their belief in a God, but they inputted their own ego so that they can actually retain control. Because how will women have control, or how will person who actually produces melanin and is able to handle the sun's rays, how can they be in charge? They already have so much, right? And the people who actually think that they're better than somebody else, they only think of it because their skin sucks at processing the sun. That's the only reason. It's an evolutionary thing that they are without melanin. It's because where they originated, where they lived, where they harvested, where they settled, there was no sun. So they have to find ways, their body had to find ways to actually absorb enough sunlight to be able to make it without needing that extra boost of vitamin D, because at that time there wasn't any supplement companies or anything like that. It was just Neanderthals and Homo sapiens and fucking and enjoying life and being that kind of person. And a lot of research states that just like Homo sapiens, but a little bit more maybe, Neanderthals were more brute, were more violent. So I guess a more violent one came along and fucked them over, I guess. Not sure what happened there. Those are the theories, and those are the things that we need to acknowledge, so that we can understand why we act in a certain way, why we think that we are, well, we are obviously not. People that are chosen are believing that because a book told them, and a book that it was apparently created by a God or inspired by a God. But it's us. We wrote the books, all of those books. Whatever mysticism or whatever magic you want to put into them, none of that matters, because the central or the focal understanding of every single fucking religious book I've come across is you being in tune with what the universe is and what your part in it is, and what that kind of religion, religare, reunite. That's what that means. That's what religions are supposed to be teaching us. They're supposed to be teaching us about death and how it actually is the biggest reason to the knowledge of it happening is the biggest reason for us to go ahead and make the most out of this life. And those were my ideas. I mean, since I was 6 years old, I started questioning the catechism, or I'm not sure how it's called in English, but it's Sunday school. The books, I think that catecismo is in Spanish. So, and I heard the stories, and I heard the best passages, and I was like, that doesn't make sense, dude. I mean, for an all-loving God to say that he's better and then he's jealous, and that you cannot even think about seeing other gods, or else he will punish you, but don't kill, but don't do that. But here's how to punish your slaves, right? Or here's how to resolve a rape to your daughter, to your infant daughter. Just receive a cow in exchange, or some goats and some money, and then you marry her, and all be settled. Her honor will be restored. And that's where we get a lot of the ideas of the manosphere, of the people who are inching away from being gay every single aspect of their lives, how they handle themselves, how they groom themselves, how they only care about their bodies and diminish women. Maybe it's jealousy because they are able to be women and they are not. Maybe they want to be women, or they would rather have somebody stick a stick into them once in a while, so that they can be happy, and they don't have the equipment to do it, so they do it otherwise, but they do it secretly, but they're not gay because now they have a wife and kids they never wanted. It's the same story over and over again, and you limiting your own life because of others' expectations is what's bringing us down as a society, as a civilization, because we're not focusing on what's important. We're not focusing on the comets or the super volcanoes or the tidal waves or the earthquakes or any other kind of thing, solar flares, us losing the internet. I mean, every single thing that could happen that could bring us to our knees is not being well addressed because we're fighting over oil, something we don't even have to depend on anymore, but it's profitable, so fuck it. Let's waste more time. Let's not progress. Let's not develop technologies to stop relying on oil that should not be extracted from the earth, because we don't also know what are we doing once those things are depleted. Maybe we change the anatomy of the earth somehow, and it affects us even further. I mean, we should be still using it, of course. I'm not one of those hippies that likes to say no technology. I'm not a Mennonite or how are those religions called? The ones that make cheese and don't use technology. Those guys. So we're hoping to be a society that it's really civil and that it's really the proof of the biggest brain alive, that we need to stop letting idiots manage everything. We need to stop worrying about war or what other countries are doing. Yeah, it fucking sucks that they are treating women like they are in some countries, and they shouldn't definitely be in that regard. I mean, on the 70s, Iran was a prosperous society, but religion came and it fucked everything up. And it's not religion, again, it's not a hit against religion, it's a hit against unchecked ego, because unchecked ego is the one that ruins every single fucking thing. It doesn't matter if it's capitalism, if it's socialism, if it's communism, if it's the the stock market, whatever system that actually works in theory is fucked over by unchecked ego. So that's why I say it's not about what team you belong to. It's about what they try to forward with their own interest and their own convenience and their own search of power and control. That's the problem. Their unchecked ego is the what makes Christianity suck. The unchecked ego is what makes Judaism suck. It's what makes the Muslim faith suck as well. I mean, it's that unchecked ego, because on all religions and on atheism, I found a lot of actual comfort in knowing that there are great people there. They are the ones who understand the message. They don't abide. They don't vote for their candidates. They don't vote for anything like that. They just understand what the message is, and they help people, and they always try to figure themselves out so that they can be happy and at peace, which I guess should be the main focus of our operation here. We need to understand how well we're being screwed over, so that we can understand that we don't need to be right leaning or left leaning, that we don't need to be blue or red, that we don't need to be up or down, that we don't need to be purple or gray or green or whatever color they want us to belong to, so that they can keep on amassing wealth themselves. When we, as I understand it, and I have seen it in people, when we attach ourselves to an ideology, that's fine. But when that ideology is linked to a logo, to a color, to a political stance, then that becomes a risk for us losing our dignity, our integrity, our way of thinking, and our critical thinking, and we live in a dystopia within ourselves, where cognitive dissonance is the main focus and the main thing that actually controls our ideas, because we don't own those ideas anymore. We don't think about what we're saying. We just repeat talking points. We repeat what the news people are telling us, and just because they are within our party's limits and understandings, and they are correct. That's why Nazis were very popular. I mean, we didn't understand our own. We just wanted to, as a human experience, we wanted not to be so fucked up after the first war. So we got angry and we wanted payment, and we didn't want to be poor anymore, and we did that. But that's happened in every single country. I'm saying we as a human race, not necessarily that I'm German. I'm not. But the fact of the matter is that we need to stop even thinking in those terms, in nationalities and all that. We need to stop that. We're not enemies. We just speak differently. We just have different customs, but we're not enemies like politicians and corporations want us to be, so that they can profit. We're not enemies. None of us are a different species or a different race. We are human beings, and human beings are 99.6, I think, percent similar to a chimpanzee. So we're really not different races. We're just people who grew up in different parts of the land, uh, which had different amounts of exposition to the sun, and which actually made us the color that we are. We're nothing more than that. And the people who think they're better because they lack melanin are idiots. I'm sorry to say that, and I hope you can change your way of thinking. But I understand it as it is. It's there's nothing special about you. A magic book of a white guy saying that white people are special. It's not proof that you're special. A guy saying that you're a king just because you're white and you come from a certain family, that doesn't make you a king. It's somebody saying that you're a king, or you yourself declaring yourself king. And that's the same mentality that's taking over. That's the same unchecked ego that's taking over corporations and politics, and even in our own families. We end up being victims to that kind of mentality, and it's sad that we cannot move away from it, being of the big brain that we are right now. I really wish that we can call ourselves civilized soon enough, because we are running out of time to be able to do that, to be able to still keep on talking. And right now, with the internet and with the apps that allow us to communicate with each other easily, I'm not sure why we're losing time with war anymore. If people need help with how they treat their women and their children and all that, we first of all have to take a look at corporations and what kind of role they are playing in that kind of instance, or what kind of role they are playing in that exploitation. Because corporations are, I'm pretty much sure that they are involved in what's happening right now, because the more obvious ones are the ones that dedicate themselves to building weapons and idiocy as such. We have bigger fish to fry, and we're frying the same fucking fish over and over again. It's gonna taste fucking awful. You're gonna overburn your steak, and I know how macho man like steak, and that's the same thing, man. If you keep on pushing the decency of people who just want to live their lives, the same thing's gonna happen. Unchecked ego is gonna lose, and it's gonna come with a revenge, but it's gonna be the same thing, dude. You're not a good person. You're not gonna be thinking about others. I understand, but if you are willing to, I'm not sure even if you're gonna listen to, or if anybody at all is gonna listen to this, but if you do, and you are in a position to do so, make that decision to actually be a good person, to be one that looks for cooperation towards a goal of us surviving as a human being, as a human species, so that we don't have to exploit anybody. We don't have to waste anybody's time, or we don't have to exploit any kind of resource. We can use the resources; they are there for us to use. So why are we hoarding them, or why are we manipulating them so that we can charge more, or why are we over exploiting it to the point that we almost run out of the thing that we're trying to use? Yeah, we need to think about ways to do that, and how to keep society working while we understand that we don't need money to be able to enjoy our lives. But we're not going to be able to do that unless we stop depending on the unchecked egos that like to hoard things over and over again until they have more than enough, and they're still going to go through and wanting more. So we need to stop depending on those people so that we can become a healthy society, one that looks for progress and surviving anything that comes our way. Because if we don't do that, we're just gonna keep on hurting ourselves by letting unchecked ego be who's in charge of our taxes and our resources and our decision making. This war is totally illegal and nothing's being done about it. It's because it's convenient for some of even the ones that say that they are on the left. They still have interests and investments and coercion attached to them. So that's why things don't ever change, because you judge what the others are doing, but you don't look within, and you're the same kind of thing. And it's sad to believe that once this orange Nero fucks off, we're going to go back to the same thing: convenience and greed and hoarding, and it's going to be done on the left and it's going to be done on the right. But hopefully we can keep people accountable so that we can go to balance again, because it's going all the way back to that part. And when that happens, it's dangerous for everybody. If it's all the way to the left or if it's all the way to the right, it's the exact same thing. We're never going to see peace if we keep on letting that be our guidance. If we keep on being from the right just because we want to be on the right and because we think we are always on the right and that we are the only ones holding the truth, then we let people like Orange Nero tell us that we are basically not capable of living a good life, that they know better than us. And that's when they lose themselves. That's why they cannot smile sincerely. They cannot have a full and brilliant look in their eyes. And the way they cannot relax. They're always uptight and faking everything and taking pictures and using fancy clothes, because within they know they're not enough. And that's how they compensate. It's like the stereotype of the big truck and little penis. It's the same thing. It's just, and I'm not bashing you for liking a high-end piece of clothing or something like that. It's not that, but look within. If you're leaning to get angry at this, just see of the people, look at the people and read about the gossip for those people and what they do in their private life when they are not showing off and not taking pictures for likes and not trying to drag attention from you. They are sucky people. They commit crime a lot. They buy laws. They exploit people. They lie to people. They use people. It's fucking sad. And the flashier they are, the more presumptuous they are, the more entitled they say they are, the worse they are. And it's fucking evident, and it's right there. And we keep on allowing fame and wealth to be our guidance for success, when success is just living your experience and being happy when you're about to die, actually doing it with a smile in your face. That's what success is, at least to me. That's what's working for me. I'm don't have the greatest financial success, but I have the best success that could be, which is my wife, my son, my family. Yeah, we do have issues with my direct family, but here at home I'm great. I have a great wife. I have a great son. We also have our issues that we need to work on, and we actually are working on, and we go through it. That doesn't matter. Right now we're in a hard situation, a hard place, but financially, but we're strong and we're being patient so that we can get through it together. And that love and then that understanding and that companionship and those talks and those sessions that we have with each other, me and my wife, it's fucking wonderful, and I wouldn't change it for anything, any amount of money in the world. Because again, I was prepared to just die alone, and that's fine. I mean, that's the idea that we eventually have to go to, so that we don't have to. Diogenes said it best, and it's one of my greatest inspirations. As Diogenes said, he was told, I'm not sure, I think by Alexander the Great, I'm not sure, but he was asked, why do you eat lentils when you can just learn to lick the right boots and you'll be eating steak if you wanted to. You're very smart. And Diogenes just looked at him and said, you know what, dude, you should have actually learned to eat lentils so that you didn't have to lick any boots. And that's always stuck to me. That's always been the one of the guidances for my life. It's not that I don't want to be, or that I want to be a rebel. I just want to live my life. And I cannot let anybody else, not even my mom or my dad, tell me what's best for me. Not anymore. They had their opportunity to make me a man and to teach me things up until I was 21. After that, I moved out of the house and I started doing my own thing. And sometimes it looked like wasting time, but it wasn't. I was always thinking about how to not give in to what's normal, quote unquote, and not give in to presumption and to convenience and to greed and to treating my friends as if they were something that I could use just because I can. When I, maybe this is not reflected, but I mean, I've been told this, when I actually hug somebody, I hug them because I want to, and it's sincere and they can feel it. They've told me. When I smile, I don't smile forcibly anymore. It felt wrong. I felt dirty when I did it. And now I just smile when I feel like it. I laugh when I feel like it, which is a lot. I have marks in my eyes. I think they're called chicken's feet or something like that. Because I'm always smiling. And I do have my darker side, which I actually don't like when people say something that's evident that it's not true. I don't like that, and I get upset at that. I get upset at people not actually enjoying themselves, and not because I want them to forcibly enjoy themselves, but because they're wasting time, and wasting time is a big deal for me. I do relax a lot, but I don't call them wasting time. I call that recuperating and thinking about things and meditating. Yeah, I have my job and I earn a good salary, but it's all going to shit right now because of the war and because of all the things that have happened abuse-wise by politicians and corporations since the pandemic. I got laid off actually right in the pandemic. You know what? We don't need you. That we hired a bunch of other people help us, just train them a couple of weeks, and then in a couple of weeks I'll, without notice, just let you know that, you know what, you don't work for us anymore, and that was that. And they let 9 of us go in that instance, which was really sad. But I mean, there goes the corporate spiel of saying we're family, right? We care about you. They care about profit, and that's the problem. So yeah, and I understand that sometimes there are some of us that don't know how to work and don't like to work and do whatever we can to commit fraud towards the company, right? And that's understandable. But most of us, the bigger part of us, don't do that. We just go and do our job and expect to be well remunerated. No, well paid for a set time. And it was going well, but then again the pandemic hit, and I had to get 2 jobs. I actually got another job. And then I got the old one back again. Yeah, I came back to them because it's a job that lets me be with my family a lot. So that's fine. They've treated me well in a corporate sense, but I understand we're not family. They suck at human understanding and doing something more about that part of their business. But that's on their end. I mean, I'm doing my job. I'm trying to be the best that I can at it, and I enjoy being the rest of the time with my family. That's all I want to do all day. I don't care if I don't go out. I don't care for traveling. My wife likes to travel a lot, but I don't have anything against that. I just don't push for any kind of want in that regard. Wherever she wants to go, we'll go. It doesn't matter. I just want to be with her and with my son for as long as I can, because I understand that my son will also have his experience and will also want to leave and do his own thing. And I want him to be happy, and that's why I'm doing these videos, because there needs to be a more clear picture of what fame and what wealth hoarding is. It's not success. Again, I understand it differently right now. Now that I understand how happiness works and how life is more easily enjoyable. I understand that hoarding and being petty and being greedy, it leads to nothing more than just wasting your time, wasting your life, and wasting relationships that you took for granted or that you didn't pay the required attention to, or that you didn't show enough interest about to actually enjoy that. And so right now you're just living out of convenience and people doing whatever they need to do to gain your favor so that they can at one point become the same as you. The same greedy asshole who doesn't care about his community, he just goes and takes money from the community and goes and spends it in high class stores and high class cinemas and high class things. They don't invest it back into the community that allowed them to grow. They just took what they wanted. It happens here in my community as well, that a lot of people who are who have businesses like a little corner store, they usually what they do is they become wealthy and they move out of there. They don't live there anymore. They hire somebody to attend the store and they move to a nicer place. The politicians do it here also, and it's the same thing. It's accumulating and moving out and dropping your buckets of money where there's already a lot of money. You don't invest it back on the community that voted for you or that bought your products or that gave you their support in any way. You don't do that. It doesn't matter. As long as you can post for likes and have the attention of people admiring you because you have money. Not because of the good person that you are, but because you have money. Their convenience is some kind of love for you. And that's what they are. And again, I'm not trying to judge. I'm not trying to sound condescending or anything like that, but that's what I've seen all along in my 45 years of existence. People who seek wealth, hoarding, and fame and the easy things, they are usually very depressed, very anxious, and when you mention that, they say, don't talk about that, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion because it's forbidden. It's not. Those are the three things that are keeping us in the hole at the moment. We don't understand death, so we let somebody who doesn't understand death use that intent so that they can hoard money and attention and build some kind of power in the world. That's what religions are. Corporations are the same. They sell us a good product. They start cutting off on the size. They start cutting off on the quality. They start poisoning us with several things that we shouldn't be actually ingesting. And now we're full of plastic, of microplastics because of them. And it's the same thing with kings. I mean, they have all the power to change things, and they don't because they like status too much. They like living off of everybody else's time and investment and money. They like that. They don't have to work. They don't have to cooperate with society. They like to pretend, and they like to show off, and they like to say that they are this class of people who are obviously not a thing, because we're all human and nobody's above anybody else. Nobody's chosen. Nobody's more than anybody else. But they like to tell us that they are. They like to tell us that they are royal and that they are special and chosen. And the people who say that are usually the most empty ones, the ones that don't actually get the message of their prophets. I'm not a religious man myself in an institutional way, but I'm religious in that sense that I understand that I'm part of a universe that brought me here through stars exploding and through biological and chemical processes that happen and physical processes that happen throughout a lot of years that actually allow me to be speaking to a phone right now. But I'm not better than anybody else, but I understand also that nobody's better than me, and that's what ego realization, or the realization that I had with the project that I did. It's search for the reason for the ego, and the ego is only good for you until it lets you know that nobody's better than you, but you're also not better than anybody else. And when it starts telling you that you are better than somebody else, then that's a checked ego, and that's what gets you into problem, and that's what gets you into trouble, and that's what makes you take decisions that affect a lot of people, and that's what has you empty, because you rather live by what they will say, but el que dirán. You rather live by that and by the thought of wealth being a success, then you forget about your humanity. You don't care about empathy or about an actual religion to your creation. You are only interested in you and what you can get out of people, and how you can be smarter, quote unquote, than other people, just because you are able to lie better or to cheat better. I don't know, man. Something to think about, and I've already taken too long in this video, so thank you so much for your time, and I'll come back again to it later on. Hope you have a great day, and thank you for listening if you did.